Brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in to our Bible show, Truth Hour. And again, thank you for tuning in to our first ever Bible show, Truth Hour, going live on Facebook Live, brothers and sisters. And this is our first show on Facebook Live. I'm so excited. We're dealing with the potter and the clay, brothers and sisters. The potter and the clay. We're dealing with the potter and the clay, and we want you guys to tune in, pay close attention, do your own research. Do not take us, brothers and sisters, do not take our word for what we're teaching tonight. Don't take our word for it. What we want you to do, brothers and sisters, is research for yourself. Again, we want you to research for yourself, brothers and sisters. Let me see if I can make a quick adjustment on this camera a little bit just for the Facebook Live folks. Bring it down a little bit. A slight quick adjustment. There we go. We thank all of you all for tuning in. Those who are tuned in Facebook Live. Our subject matter is the potter and the clay. Brother Julius, where you want to start at?
I want to start this, Black Guys. I want to deal with Romans chapter 9.
Romans chapter 9.
Romans chapter 9. And we're going to see, everybody talks about Paul's writing, sisters and brothers, but they never talk about Paul's writing in depth. Well, what Paul is trying to say, well, what we think that Paul is trying to say. Let Paul tell you what he's trying to say. He could tell you better than you or I. What we got to do is line up with Paul. Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ, sisters and brothers. Let's go to Romans chapter 9, Black Guys. And again, to those who are just tuning in, welcome to another edition of the Truth Hour, hosted by Black Ice and Brother Julius. Tonight, the title is The Potter and the Clay.
The potter and the clay.
The potter.
We're starting this thing off at Romans chapter 9, brothers and sisters. Where you want to go, Brother Julius?
I want to start this, Black Ice. Romans chapter 9. Wow. Verse 14. 9 and 14, because a lot of things go on in the world. And a lot of people say, well, why is God allowing this? Or why is the devil doing this? And why is this happening? Why is that happening? We're going to let the Bible tell you, Black Ice.
Romans 9.
Romans 9 and pick it up at verse 14. Because some people, Black Ice, said, God is not fair. Why he take my loved one? Why did he do this? Why did he let this happen to me? I thought he loved me. I thought he would protect me. That's not right. The wicked is getting by and they getting away, and the righteous is not.
Okay.
Romans 9 and 14, Black Ice.
Romans 9 and 14.
Go ahead.
What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid.
Read the book of Job. Job thought that God was punishing him, and Job was self-righteous. But Paul said, and at the end of the matter, Job learned a whole lot. Job learned exactly what Paul is telling you right now.
Okay.
Is there unrighteousness with God? What do you say, Ice? God forbid.
That means no.
Go ahead.
For he said to Moses,
yes,
I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on who I will have compassion.
Wait a minute. If Paul is good enough to quote the old scriptures, who are you to call yourself a New Testament Christian? You are a half Bible reader.
Wow.
That's the bottom line, sisters and brothers. You got to take the old book with the New Testament book, because Paul is quoting Moses in Exodus, the 33rd
So wait a minute. We're all the way in the New Testament, in the book of Romans.
We're not only in the New Testament, the last days, Ice.
And check this out. There are people today that's teaching the word of God that refuse to go to the Old Testament and read anything. And here it is, the man whom a lot of these modern day Christians base their religion on, the foundation of, which is Paul, not Jesus, but Paul. Some of them do. Paul himself is quoting something from the Old Testament during Moses.
All servants of God will quote from the Old Testament, because the Bible teaches you that if they speak not according to the law or the testimony, the Old or the New Testament, they have no light or no knowledge in them, Black Ice.
Wow.
Notice what it's called. New testimony. Come on, Black.
Verse 16, Romans 9 and 16.
Go ahead.
So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy.
It ain't about you or me. It ain't about what we think. It's about what thus said the Lord. It's about what thus said the Lord. Come on, Black Ice.
Verse 17. For the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee,
Uh-huh.
and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
When did he say that to Pharaoh?
Wow.
In the Old Testament, in the book of what?
In the book of Exodus, sound like when he hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Yeah.
And brothers and sisters, God is hardening the heart of these leaders and these governments and these presidents
Yeah.
and these dictators all around the world, because when God comes back on the scene, he wants to show you, or you think America is great, or you think Russia is great, or you think China is great. Well, I got something for them all, because all I got to do is make it rain long enough.
Yeah.
All I got to do is make it snow long enough. All I got to do is make it get cold and shut off their electricity. God is showing you that no matter what goes on or who is in power, that he is the one still in control.
Absolutely. And he going to show it to you. Continue to read, Black Ice.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
Romans 9 and 18.
Go ahead.
Therefore, hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will harden.
Something that you think that you doing, I did this, I did that. Maybe God hardened your heart. You don't want to refuse, you refuse to forgive. Maybe God has hardened your heart so that you won't receive forgiveness. It ain't nothing, not nothing that going on in the world, sisters and brothers, that the Almighty don't control.
Wow.
Even the evil spirits. Yeah, I said it. Even the evil spirits.
So wait a minute. You mean to tell me that Satan can't even do anything that he does without the permission of God?
Listen, man. What did we just read?
Wow.
Read it again at verse 18. Read it again.
Verse 18, Romans 9 and 18.
Yeah.
Therefore, have he mercy on whom he will.
No. Therefore, will Satan have mercy?
No, it said God will have mercy on whom he will and whom he will harden. So, brothers and sisters, when God allowed Satan to go to Job, he said you can do anything to this man you want to do, but you can't kill him. So in other words, that says that Satan is even under the control of God. Satan can't do what God won't allow him to do.
Second and third chapters of Job, he had to ask God permission to mess with him. Oh, by the way, in the days of Jesus, sister and brother, when he walked in the flesh among Israel, he went into the country of the gatherings. It was a man possessed with demons, Ice.
Wow.
He was possessed with demons. He ran to Jesus and bowed down and worshiped him said, I know who you are. No, he said, we know who you are, thou Jesus, the Son of the Most High God. Are you come to torment us before our time?
Before our time.
And they fell down with fear and trembling. But you're going to come to me, or you're going to come to BLAQ Ice, and you said God spoke to you. Did you fall down with fear and trembling like everybody else in the Bible did?
Wow.
Even the angels got more sense than we do. Well, we don't like what you're saying, Brother Julian. It doesn't matter. We can read it to you.
Brothers and sisters, what we're basically trying to tell you at this point is it's very important to make sure you get your terminology correct. It's something today say that God inspired me to do something. But it's a different thing to say God spoke to me as if you heard his voice. Because we can read to you in the book of John 1 and 18 and 5 and 37 that no man has ever heard God's voice or seen his shape
at any time.
At any time. That means that since the first man was created. We're in the book of Romans, the 9th chapter. Our subject matter today is the potter and the clay. Brother Julius,
come on, BLAQ Ice. Verse 19. Verse 19. Here you go. And Paul is asking the people a question again concerning God. Go ahead.
Romans 9 and 19. Thou wilt say then unto me, why does he yet find fault?
Go ahead.
For who has resisted his will?
Paul said, who has resisted his will? Go ahead.
Verse 20.
Go.
No, but O man, who art thou that repliest against God?
We better read the book of Job. Job found out the hard way. Come on, Ice.
Shall the thing formed, talking about man, say to him that formed it, talking about God, why hast thou made us?
But people say that, BLAQ Ice. Well, why God? Why you letting this stuff go on in the city of Chicago? Why is Chicago become the murder capital of the United States? Why you doing this? Why you letting this happen? Why you doing that?
That's
and
right.
the Lord say, I have mercy on whom I will, and I will do all my will. Come on, BLAQ Ice.
Wow, where we at?
We at verse 22. Verse 21.
Verse 21.
Come on.
And it reads, has not the potter power over the clay?
Wait a minute. Who's the potter?
God is the potter.
And who's the clay?
We are the clay.
Man is the clay. Go ahead, Ice.
Has not the potter power over the clay? Of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
Listen, the Lord said, I can do what I want to do. Remember, it was prophesied that Judas would betray him.
Wow.
And Jesus said it had better if he had never been born.
Wow.
Yeah, God made you, but he made you a free moral agent, but he made you a free thinking, but he set before you life and blessings, death and a curse. You don't want to listen to me, you're going to die by me.
Brothers and sisters, let me explain to you something real quick.
Come on, Ice.
God is a producer of this play called life. And we are only actors in that play, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Somebody got to play every role that God has ordained to be played in this play.
Oh, we call him a producer director?
Absolutely. There had to be a Samson, brothers and sisters, but there also had to be a Delilah. There had to be a Moses, brothers and sisters, and there had to be a Pharaoh. There had to be a Jesus, and there had to be a Judas. Which role are we going to play, brothers and sisters?
Because you are not the potter.
You're going to play one role or the other role. Which one are you going to play?
Wow.
That's what we're talking about, the potter and the clay. Romans 9
and 22, Black
and
Ice.
22.
Go ahead.
What if God?
Why? Why these roles, Black Ice? Why these characters? Why? Read it.
What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction?
How long was the children of Israel in captivity under the Egyptians?
400 years.
400, and really a 400, total of 40 and 30 years.
30 years.
And the Lord said, I set Pharaoh up. I set Egypt up. I made it a great civilization until it violated against me. I told you, don't have no other God before me. How many gods did Egypt have? Let's name some on, Black Ice.
They had Horus. They had Isis. They had Ra.
Amun-Ra.
They had Anun. They had Hotep. They had many gods in Egypt, brothers and sisters.
But the last time I read my Bible, but the God of Israel said, don't have no other gods before me. I'm a jealous God. I'm going to visit you in due time.
Wow.
So the last time I read my Bible, to those who want to join onto Egyptology and follow Egyptology, nothing wrong with getting the knowledge, but when you begin to say Egypt is God's chosen people, last time I read my Bible, Egypt lost. So much for that. Finish it, Black Ice. Finish it, Black Ice. Finish it.
Romans 9:23.
Why?
And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory.
Before he had what?
Prepared unto glory.
So he had mercy. That's why he said, I have mercy on whom I will. I kill whom I will. I kill whom I will. Let's go, Black Ice.
Brothers and sisters who are just tuned in, you're tuned in to the Bible Show Truth Hour here on the POET Network. We want to thank all our brothers and sisters for tuning in. Deshaun, Tyrone, Brother Elijah, Sister Mary. We're having a very explosive lesson, and this lesson is called The Potter and the Clay. We're letting you know that, brothers and sisters, God is the orchestrator of everything that's going on in this world. And sometimes, brothers and sisters, based on our disobedience and based on the disobedience of our forefathers, God will allow us and has allowed us to be in a condition that we find ourselves in today.
Say that again. Say that again.
God has allowed us to be in a position that we are today due to the disobedience of our forefathers, brothers and sisters.
But even in the condition that we are today, Black Ice, does the Lord still show mercy?
The Lord still show mercy because we still exist today, brothers and sisters. It's a sign of God's mercy. And some people say we're no longer under the law, we're under grace. Well, I got news for you, brothers and sisters.
Come on, Ice.
Before Jesus ever came in the flesh, before he ever was crucified and gave up his life and shed his blood for us, there was a man named Adam in the beginning that disobeyed God, brothers and sisters. And God didn't take away his life. He only allowed him to exist for under 1,000 years because God said, the day that you eat of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil is the same day that you're going to die. You got to understand that a day of the Lord is equal to 1,000 years. So Adam never lived to see 1,000 years old, brothers and sisters. But God didn't cease humanity to exist. Why? Because he gave man a grace period of time to get things back in order. So we've always been under grace, brothers and sisters, since Adam fell from it.
I like that.
We've always been under grace. Brothers and sisters, this is part 1 of the potter and the clay. For our YouTube listeners, we're going to stop this recording and start it off and go to part 2. But brothers and sisters, it's about to get even deeper. Tune in for part 2 of the potter and the clay.